part of our objective is when you're out on the construction site, you have to think about some of these things. You can't just start ordering materials and mobilizations and start setting them out on site, because some of these materials are very high synthetic materials, high technical materials that can be very destructive to itself and or to the environment. So you're looking at the 5 major resources in construction. Is you're looking at ground contamination, water contamination, air, noise, pollution, and vibration. So we always have to look at that. We have a building right over here, our Shella Tower, that we're doing, and we're doing dewatering works, and indirectly it's affecting. Indirectly, is our subcontractor is doing the dewatering work on the pumps, and you could see the slurry being pumped back into the waters. We're trying to control that. We're trying to educate people as we go, even directly and indirectly with other subcontractors. I hope I'm making sense. So what I've come to a conclusion across the group and in construction, ISO 14001 does not have a system for construction. They'll have like systems that you can upload from the internet that will do some sort of, like they'll have manufacturers. But what I've done is I've created, down here below, you see these tabs: mobilization, enabling works, superstructure, MEP works, finishing and fit out, landscaping, maintenance, and then I have another tab which is hidden, but it's labor camps. And what I've created is a master register that we could actually identify in those systems the activities, aspects, and impacts. The activity of what we're doing, the aspect of how we're doing it, and the impact of what it might be impacting those 5 environments: ground, water, air, vibration, and noise. And then what I've done is we've created a condition assessment, if it's a normal, abnormal, or emergency, and then direct or indirect. When we order materials on site, some of these manufacturers send me packages that there's just too much packages to deal with. I mean, we're inundated with all this packaged material, and it takes so much time, and then we have all this waste. I mean, you ever go to a fast food restaurant because you're working late, and they take the sandwich and they wrap it in foil, then they put it in another bag, and then they put that bag in another bag, and if you order something else with it, that bag goes in another bag. The packaging that you buy here is it's questionable, because you buy a box of crackers out in the grocery store, and you got to go through 4 different packages to get to the crackers. So all these manufacturers are thinking it's safe, let's combine it, and we have to educate. So indirectly, we have to tell people, we have to share that. And we've given it scores, obviously: likelihood, severity, and then we have control procedures that we're doing. Now this is where it's really frustrating, because on the control procedures, I might have a control EMP 002, that's how my operation control for electricity or water, or a procedure for to save something, to do something a little less characteristics. But we've also tried to implement LEAD, that there's a possible point within that, we need to put that in. Now my federal laws and regulations, remember that book that was 102 books? The only common similarity of federal laws that I have for all of U.A.E. is that list. There's 14 federal laws. It covers no matter where you're at. If you're in Sharjah, Elaine, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, any of the 7 Emirates, that legal representation covers all. So I didn't want to sit on the fence and start implementing procedures from Sharjah when they're not going to be compliant with Abu Dhabi. So these are some of the frustrations that we get. And then I've brought in some ideas. We can also look outside the box. What about daylight savings time? Can we save 1 hour of electricity burning for the entire country? There's states that size, like South Carolina, that's saving money. They've proved it just by changing our hours back or forward. They've proved it. These are some of the ideas. I'll go a little quicker for you. I brought ideas like, for instance, there is a concrete called transparent concrete. I don't know if the codes will accept it, but the strengths and integrities are just as equal as the concrete that we have today. And those are some of the neat things that some of the architects or consultants can start implementing. And then what about a worm gear on a watch? If anybody wants to buy me a Rolex watch, thank you. A worm gear on a watch, when you wind it once and it'll tick for about 9 to 12 months. Could you imagine thinking of a worm gear the size of a car or the size of a small lawnmower and connecting that up to a turbine system and putting it to a generator to your house? How much time that would bring? We have to think outside the box on some of this stuff, but I think for now, the conclusion is uniformity. Let's bring one system in and say, okay guys, we're going to call it 20 points, everybody across the board. So this way that the cost, the availability for me using Chargia versus me using somebody in Abu Dhabi for waste segregation, it can be all the same. We can have a unison to start setting down and rolling out. That's all I got. Thank you. Here we go. Thank you.
Sit down for a second. Thanks very much, Derek. Was the worm gear, that wasn't a joke, was it?
Well, I mean, it's just something to try to.
I just wondered.
I mean, Masdar is pushing people for it. So.
Yeah. Okay. Then we have someone. Okay. Just on the Derek. So, how long have you been with Fara'a now? Huh?
I've been there for 2 years.
Okay. And I mean, how many sustainability managers are there in construction firms?
Interesting enough, we have environmental representatives that are on each construction site.
Yeah, but as far as a U.A.E. construction firm is concerned, you're quite a small group of people, aren't you?
There's just me out of 18,000 employees.
Oh, no, but if you look at other companies.
Oh, looking at other companies I have, it's very limited. We're not at all.
So even though, and tell me why the thinking behind Fara'a Group hiring you, and with your background to do the job you're doing, is that, what's the thinking? Is it because they were anticipating tighter environmental standards in the projects market, or was this because, what was the motivation for bringing you in?
I think that the frustrations and sometimes in closing a deal, especially with the consultants, architects, and engineers that are out there that were going after these jobs, like we've met with Sora Group, we've met with Aldar, is to give them the relief, the understanding that, you know what, we are wanting to put a system in place.
Okay.
And to make that efficient and less impact on what your objectives are. We want to try to coordinate ourselves along with that to collectively do the objective, collecting the points.
Okay, well, very excellent initiative, Derek, and thank you for your very stimulating perspectives. And from construction, the guys who actually do the building perspective, it is shocking to see what you guys have to go through to deliver what you've been asked to deliver. Can I invite you to any questions, any comments? No, I think everyone's looking forward to lunch. I don't blame them. Thanks, Derek. Congratulations on what you're doing. I mean, I think we need to talk a bit more about how, maybe me can help in this process. We do have our annual Construction Industry Summit, and we get people from all over the region. Maybe we should be doing a bit more to try and promote the idea of uniformity and standardisation in what's going on in the market. But anyway, congratulations on what you've done. Show your best wishes. Show your praise. Oh, there's a hand came up at the very last moment. Very last moment. What is your word?
Yes, I did. Well, I came up with a common point system by studying both. I've taken just two systems, LEED, where I'm from, and obviously the Estadama system, and kind of looked at the similarities with it and combined it. And then what I wanted to do is we've recognized across the group 23 credits if we looked at LEED. And just automatically putting into our processes, whether it's mobilization or energy efficient practices, subcontracting, we've recognized 23 credits within our operations. And as well, you'll see with Unibaton later with iCrete and the green concrete structures that they provide, that's, they've recognized 3 to 4 points. The common points for just contractors?